Question 2. This is a two-part analysis. We've got to take a couple of different steps. What's the total length of reaches that are within private land and on which dam building is possible? So we just need to start breaking it down. I've added the perennial stream network that it calls for and the land ownership from the National Surface Management Agency. So, I mean, I would just go in here and we're going to cruise over to the designated field, which is OPBRC and UD. So here's dam building as possible. We could do a select by attribute. And we want a new selection where this is equal to dam building is possible. All right, and then if it's most of them, it looks like, out of the 7,6,200. I think I don't know, I could make a new copy of this, or you could just reverse it. Here's the reverse, and select the other, whatever it is, 800, and just delete those. But we'll do it this way. Okay, so I can clear my selection and we can turn off the inputs. So you can see that there's just a few segments that didn't carry forward with us. So we've got dam building as possible. Now we need to go in here and pull out all the private. And we could just do a select by attribute, but I like to look at the field that we need and just kind of verify that this is the one. So it's admin agency. Let's see here, new selection. Oh, there we go. So out of the 14 polygons in there, 4 of them are private land. And we can do the same thing with that, just export it. Oh, that's pretty cool that right in your export you can do a select by. Hey, I didn't know that. All right, we're going to turn off our inputs, clear our selection, and just look at the private. And we could test that also by going in here to the National Surface and doing a symbology. We could symbolize based on the attribute in this admin agency field and just verify that these are all the privates. All right. So now what we want to do is figure out the total length of stream that intersect this pink area, which is all the private land. And I would go ahead and clip this myself. Selecting by location is going to pick up lengths that crisscross over the boundary, and I don't want to have to deal with completely within or intersecting or anything like that. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. But in this case, we don't care, so a clip works. But intersecting cuts it the same way, but appends both sets of attributes to the output data set. Okay, so the clip feature is going to be our cookie cutter. That's the more complex geometry. That's going to be our private land, and then the input is the perennial. I guess it's the export feature of our perennial streams. I am setting the worst examples of all time for speed. And because I'm working on my laptop, and I know I can always go back and find these things if I have to. All right, so we're going to verify our output by turning off the input. And you can see our output streams now only exist where the pink stuff is. That's good. Now, the trick here is that the lengths aren't automatically updated when we cut them. So everything we got rid of, if there were stream segments that extended past the boundary here, those lengths aren't automatically updated to the shorter length that we have now. So we can go through and just recalculate those. It looks like we have a couple fields that we might be able to do that on. For us, we can just go ahead and recalculate, and then we'll know what our units are. All right, so segment length is the field that I'm using, and we want to calculate the length. Let's do it geodesically. Okay, looks like that updated. And then we're going to just summarize it using the statistics. Open our chart properties, and our sum is here. So about 948 kilometers in length. If we wanted a little more precision, we could say 948.4 kilometers, possibly 948.41 kilometers, but that's where we get that length. How else could you approach this? You could run the intersect on it. You could, like I said about select by location, I don't know that I would trust that in this case. You know, it doesn't really matter what order you go after the two individual pieces in. So yeah, I didn't really see a lot of alternative approaches to this one. The key is knowing that you have to update those lengths because they don't automatically update. I don't work with geodatabases a lot, but sometimes, I don't know under what circumstances, but geodatabases sometimes will update those lengths or area calculations, but I'm not sure. So I always just recalculate because then I know I'm dealing with the most current lengths and areas for my data. All right, that's it for question 2, and I'll see you in a second for 3.